this. How fresh is this one?
Literally just, I feel like I'm mastering tracks until like a label takes them, like I'm constantly going back and forth and just replacing the file on like email or something until like the label says picks it up. So this one, as of right now, last week I think I updated it, but it's never done until someone takes it. I feel like the work's done, the mastering is like.
Can you feel the boom boom?
This is the best compliment you can ever give a musician. This right here.
Yeah. Filth. Yeah, it's a good track. I'm
Feel the boom.
Yeah, who's the main brains behind your production operation? Is that Mr. Chase here?
Yes.
How do you guys work? Do you guys sit next to each other, or do you splice back and forth?
Yes.
I'll shoot a video. We usually get together like at least once a week.
Yeah.
And at least once a week. And he's, you know, he just got Ableton too, so it's kind of getting him into it. And
You got Ableton too? They're on 10 now, you know.
No. I was an FL guy. I just got Ableton, so still trying to get used to that. Yeah. The transfer, the switch over.
it's a good mix though. The automation alone is just like on point.
I don't want to kill your song, but
Oh, you're
I
good.
heard the perfect amount, and we're already deep into this analyzation of that shit. So I just want to introduce these guys. We are here with Dapp3r, a.k.a. Rob and Chase. Chase is on my left, or they're both on my right, but it doesn't matter. And then we got Jamie back behind the Google machine. Are you still? She just got back from Amsterdam dance event last week.
Nice.
So she came in here all jet lagged last time. And,
I did.
And fucked up the recording.
It was all my fault. I'll take it.
But we're happy to have her. I love it when she shows up. She runs a tight show. So if you guys get out of line, she's fucking your asses up.
No more drinks.
Welcome, guys.
Don't
Thanks
tease
for
me.
coming on. We just heard your new track, which is called
Boom Boom.
Boom Boom. And, I always say, like, oh, I really like your song to people. But I actually really like that. That was pretty fresh. Sounded good. It had that, like, 8-bit video game bass house feel, which makes me want to wonder, how do you guys classify or categorize your music? And don't be like one of those indie dudes like, we don't like to genre-lize, we don't like to classify.
No.
You know, like,
I'm definitely in a genre.
okay,
Yeah.
so what is this?
Probably, I mean, mainly house music for sure, but like I've kind of like dark tech house to like harder, night bass type stuff, like in between those two.
So I would, if I was running the beat port and I put that on there, I would probably throw that in the old, the bass house category. Definitely had a tech feel, but I'd say that has bass house written all over it. Would you guys agree with me there?
Yeah, I think most of our stuff leans more towards bass house.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm really feeling that shit, I must say. We had my buddy Kaztek on here not too long ago. Have you ever heard of him?
Of course.
Dude, he is literally like top 3. That dude
Yes.
is
We
heard of him.
slaying.
Love that guy. One of my best podcasts actually was sitting here talking to him. I met him back when I was living in San Diego, and I love it when he comes out this way. Try to get him back here. Liquefy, let's get him in that district, shall we?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And you guys too, actually. You played district yet?
Not
No.
yet.
Mm-mm.
I mean, we were formally moving keys with another dude, and we just kind of like started fresh recently. So, but even with them, we never played district. We did like Shaky Beats, Iris a lot, and Imagine a couple times formally as that. But right now, we've kind of just,
Starting over.
yeah. I mean, music's, I still got a bunch of backed up projects from prior stuff that I just didn't release, but I was, doing most of the stuff, the production side and that. So But yeah, I mean, haven't played a district yet, but hopefully one day.
How long has Dapp3r been a thing?
Well, we actually met before we were moving keys. What, about 4 years ago, something like that
Yeah.
now? About 4 years ago, and we linked up, started collabing on stuff, and then we became moving keys probably a year after.
Yeah.
About a year and a half after that. And we did the moving keys thing for a while. And like Chase said, we just kind of broke off from that and went back to Dapp3r. Dapp3r was actually the original name before we were moving keys. So
Do you guys like cats?
Oh yeah.
love them.
I mean, I just had another stray show up outside, and I just like can't like. I'm like, fuck, man, I gotta, gotta take you in, bro. It's about to get cold.
Is
so-
it like a domesticated stray or a feral stray?
I mean, I feel like his brothers and sisters out there are feral, but he acts like a domesticated cat. Like he's like lays
So
on you, and
he's
like,
got brothers and sisters out there, and you didn't take them in. You
I
left
can't.
them
I
out
can't
in the
get
cold?
to him.
Oh,
I
'cause they
try.
ran away?
I like stop my car in the middle of the road, and I'm like, come here, bro. And just run off.
Yeah. Well, if you want some more, we have a family outside where we came in at called the Pussy Posse, and there's literally like 10 of those motherfuckers running around out there. There used to be one until they found out that my wife Joanna was feeding them, even though
yeah.
I shouldn't probably publicly say that, but
They
she
told all their
does. And then
friends.
they do. Yeah, they told all their friends, and now they just have babies, and we just see more and more pop up like every day, and we can't even keep up with the naming them all. We have like the gray one, the not gray one, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, I noticed your cats had some top hats, which I'm imagining is what makes them dapper,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yes.
So how does that how does that correspond to you guys' DJing style? Or it doesn't have to at all.
well-
I think
it could
it's
be a
actually
personality
kind of
thing.
the opposite because
Right.
we go, when we go like, I usually never look dapper when I play, and that's kind of like the funny thing behind it. And I don't know, I just thought like it's a cool top hats on cats fits well, but the name itself is
It's like an oxymoron
yeah
type deal.
yeah I'm trash. I'm not fancy.
Yeah, that's something I just would like to kind of just say about Atlanta in general that I noticed from other scenes that I've been involved in. I feel like Atlanta has obviously an amazing scene, which is why I decided to move back here about a year ago. But it's different in that the people out here party really hard, party really well, love their music, come out in droves, and at the same time, there isn't that much of a like, let's get really dressed up to go out. It's like Atlanta's like that kind of grungy,
Yeah.
fucking like divey type of
You
get
dress
dirty.
down to go
Yeah,
out.
So
Well, it feels like they're more about the music.
yes.
It's not about the
looking nice. Yes,
right, going out and-
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I realize you guys don't know all that much about me, but I do talk about myself on here, not to promote myself, but just to kind of give you another type of insight into, where I come from, which is I DJ'd at like a posh place, and I'm all about the music too, but you always kind of ride that fine line of where is that line in terms of where does it make it worth it for you to sell out versus play what your heart says that you need to play. I actually have a tattoo that like means that on me, is basically like I want to make and play music from my heart. But at the same time, if someone came in here and said, hey Bo, would you do me a favor and play a full-blown open format hip-hop set at opera or whatever for 50 grand, like, sorry dude, I'm taking the 50 grand.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm gonna play the music.
I mean, we still play at Saloon. We played the past 2 Saturdays there, basically open to close. And like, I think like, even though like I produce a lot of house music, I'm also, we produce a lot of house music. We're also from Atlanta, so like, there's, and people just, getting down to the music a DJ decides to play is good no matter what. You know, uh, we're gonna release house, but I'm always down to play other stuff.
So are you guys specifically making Dapp3r a all house
The-
brand?
The tracks that we make are pretty much all house. So, I mean, he's starting to
I am trying to work
experiment,
with
yeah.
another artist here and making some more hip hop type beats, but it's got a definitely like an influence from the stuff that I've made forever. So it's gonna have a lot of the same energy of like the house music I make, which sounds like it wouldn't necessarily work considering it being two different genres and like two completely different BPMs, but it can definitely be intertwined. And I'm more
Can't you argue though that could also be confusing? Do you worry about that? Like worry about marketing yourself in that way?
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. I feel like, if you can show diversity, how is that going to hurt you?
yeah.
You know?
True, but then you look at the guys like, Wolfgang Gartner that have a fucking rabid fan base because they love his electro house, and then he puts out a song that's not that, and everyone's like, what the fuck? Wolfgang sells out, and then, they don't follow him anymore.
You got to do what you want to do and
Yeah.
what you love, right? So, I mean, of course, you want to be successful at what you do, but at the end of the day, if you're not happy, then
True.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's like just, and it sounds like super cliche, but like, I'm not gonna, it's been a crazy road getting where I'm at, especially like mentally. And like, really, all I can do is make, positive decisions as long as they don't, affect anyone else in a negative way and they only have they have a positive impact on my thinking, then I'm gonna go for it no matter what. I'm never gonna. I don't think there's any music that especially stuff that comes out of made in a DAW. There's nothing I really don't like except maybe happy hardcore. I can't get on board with that. But
I like that you said that. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that either. I mean, no offense to the happy hardcore fans out there, but your shit is whack.
yeah.
But no, I like to, respect all the genres of music too. But I just was speaking in terms of there's definitely that feel of like you playing shit you don't want to play, which I'm going to go back real quick to what we initially started talking about, playing certain crowds like Atlanta versus other places. Atlanta having the crowd that they're not all about, even though there are still people that are all about just being seen out in their outfit at the table with the bottle at it. You're going to have those people, but it's definitely more in other types of scenes than it is here in Atlanta, which is a little bit more fucking let's get crunk. Let's fucking drink PBR on the dance floor and throw some bows versus let me wear my suit and then buy bottles of Johnny Walker Blue.
well, maybe the music's not so good at those places.
Yeah, which is a personal story, which I was going to tell anyways, is that I basically DJ'd at a very nice place, the best sound system, the most expensive cover, blah, blah, blah. But every time I went in there, it was kind of like a combination of, hey, I want my name attached to this big venue so that people can see I'm playing at this big venue. And every now and then I'd get to play a cool song that I was excited about. But for the most part, I had management kind of breathing down my neck to play a more commercial dance where
Right.
I was wanting to play AC Slater and fucking Skrillex. So, every DJ coming up is going to run into this gray area type of problem. Like, do I want to DJ at the Guess, retail store for $30 an hour because that's going to help me pay my bills, which I did 10 years ago, which is why I bring it up. But then it's also like, where is the line? I don't know. The line is different for everybody. and some people just have the talent to ride that line out. But that leads me again to how did you end up getting into producing music in the first place? Did you start DJing and then you wanted to produce music, or was
No.
it the opposite?
Yeah, other way around. And I was stationed out in San Diego, and that was kind of where I like got into the scene. I'd always been like listening to.
That's where I'm from. Well, I mean, I'm from here,
Mm.
but I was DJing at Omnia. Do you know that club?
Mm,
How long ago were you stationed there?
2009 to 2012, basically.
Oh wow. Yeah, I think Omnia wasn't even there at that time, but yeah, I was the resident for that club for 2 years, and it was. I have such a. I could do a podcast just on that place.
Mm.
You know, it was awesome to be there playing with those guys, but at the same time, I really had it out with management a lot of the time. I was like, stop talking to me, you know. But that's cool. You lived out there. I didn't know that. So you were in the Navy?
Marines.
Cool.
And that was kind of where I got like into the scene and everything, going like back and forth between like San Diego and LA. And a lot of the shows in San Diego were like the kind like you know, you gotta like call and like get like a
Yeah.
you know, they're just super
The warehouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were cool, and that was kind of like
Do you remember Voyeur? Did you ever go there? Voyeur?
I don't know, maybe. I went
You
to
would
like
know it, so.
I think it's called like the Hudson down in LA, which is just, you know, in the summertime they throw stuff every Saturday. And that is just such a huge venue, and they just pack it out every single Saturday, and it's wild. I mean, LA and San Diego is just a different, you know.
It's all
just
different, man.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I love the scene out here. Every scene has its place and its sound, and it's cool, and that's what I love so much about like this industry and just doing this in general. It's like it's so deep on all the things that are related to music and all the things that unite us together. Is like
and like culture too. Like there's like, you know, there's a lot of like in Southern California, at least in like 2010-ish, you know, there's like like Dutch House was really big then, you know, like a lot of Afrojack's old stuff.
Hey, go like this.
Oh, word.
Yeah, perfect.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of, you know, Afrojack's old stuff and that stuff with like the high pitched lead, but it also has like a lot of like Latin influence with like the rhythm and everything. And I don't know, it's just everywhere, you know, it's different out here than it is out there. But yeah, that was how I got into making it, was like I got into the scene out there. I played piano since I was 6, so I've always been like playing music and wanted to, you know, finally saw how crazy those shows get, and I was like, man, I gotta make this shit.
Yeah. So did you you originally are from here, Georgia,
yeah.
Atlanta, and then you went into the Marines, moved out to San Diego. Were you stationed anywhere else or just San Diego?
Nah, just San Diego.
Yeah, that's kind of how I ended up there. My dad was stationed out there in the Navy, and I was born there. And then just when my parents divorced and I moved to Atlanta, I was like, hey, Mom, like, why did we move here?
Yeah.
Because we were just living in San Diego and everything was cool, right? But that's no knock on Atlanta. I love it here. Obviously, I moved back. Hashtag real estate. Hashtag gas prices. But you know, definitely was cool for a minute there to be able to surf and then go to a rave in the evening time. So who were some of you guys' you know, favorite DJs at the time when you had the epiphany that, oh yeah, this is what I need to be doing now?
Then
Afrojack.
Yeah, I like a lot of old Afrojack, Jack Beats. I mean, his older stuff is just fucking wild. His new stuff is crazy too, but him, Congo Rock, I don't think a lot of people know about him, but
Dude, the fucking Ivory. Do you know that song? Dude, we're gonna play the Ivory in just a minute here.
Who is it?
Congo Rock.
Yeah, I've probably heard
It's
it.
disgusting. Let me tell you my Congo Rock Ivy story. Let me just back way the fuck up, okay? So San Diego is, and I don't want to make this all about me, you know? But I ended up talking about myself, and I'm all in my head like, am I talking about myself too much?
It's
You
about
know?
San Diego.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like I'm just trying to like tell you guys stories because I love this electronic music
Oh,
so
yeah.
much that I built a studio here, and I want to talk about it
And it is very
constantly. But I don't want to just, this is definitely about you guys today. But I hope you can relate to my Congo rock story, because San Diego was driving distance from Vegas, so I ended up going to Vegas a lot. And my buddy was a bartender at this place called Encore Beach Club. Have you ever heard of this place called Encore Beach Club?
Yeah.
I had not at the time. And my buddy's like, hey, we should go to the pool early this morning because I'm off. So I'm like, okay. He's like, I want to get a good spot at the pool. I'm thinking, all right, let's bring our towels and lay out at the pool at Encore Beach Club, get some sun, have a margarita.
Yeah.
So we go in, and I don't realize that they're charging $100 cover to get in. I have no idea that it's sold out and everyone was about to be there in a half hour to see the Swedish House Mafia play. I just thought we were going to the pool. This is a true story. And so we sit at the end of the pool, it's chilling. There's like no music on. And then all of a sudden, people just start like filing in droves. And I'm like, Brian, what's going on? He's like, oh, yeah, the DJ's about to play. I was like, who's DJing? He's like, Swedish House Mafia. I'm like, what?
Right.
Swedish House Mafia is about to DJ right there? He's like, yes. And this was like in 2012 or whatever. Where it was
yeah.
like they were like
They
gods.
were it.
And I'm like, I didn't even know what to do. I just was like, okay, well, this is awesome. But anyways, I'm like waiting in this like, okay, 3 hours goes by and it's like a full on, like if you're listening to this or just watching it, like just Google Swedish House Mafia Encore Beach Club on YouTube and it's just a total clusterfuck. So I'm waiting at the bar for, I don't even know, 30 minutes. I finally get to the front and they play this Congo rock song. That's like the most, at the time, just like the most insanely aggressive, like want to punch your mother electro lead sound you've ever heard. And I know that the bartenders are there all the time. They hear all the music. So when the bartender like stopped what he was doing and just looked at me and then like left serving me a drinks and like tapped his friend bartender on the face and he's like, what in the actual fuck are we listening to right now? And I was like, yes, what is this? And like I tried to do the Shazam thing, but I was in a bathing suit and I didn't have my phone, and I was so pissed because it was the best song I'd ever heard. But then we went to EDC the next night, and Laid Back Luke played it, and my Shazam was working, and I heard that it was Congo rock, and I was like, I'm playing this every time I play now, and now I need to go and like revisit that song because that was the jam. Congo rock, Ivory. We can't really play music on this that's released already because this goes on YouTube. It'll get flagged. We generate like advertising dollars from the ads. So we can't play that. But we can play your song, which I've really, honestly, legitimately loved. So I'm excited to see people like you guys in Atlanta making house music and such a hip-hop dominated kind of scene. But Atlanta's actually way bigger than San Diego. I mean, I don't actually have statistics to back that up, but if you just like, it just feels bigger if you look at the amount of like restaurants and bars and buildings and everything, because San Diego's kind of pushed up to the coast. So it's just like this small like line. But in a huge scene that seems like they have something for everyone, it's really cool to see all these explosions of venues and guys like you producing and DJing. And so what kind of like, goals are you guys setting for yourselves? Like, where are you guys going with this? Like, what do you hope to, promote for Dapp3r? Like, what's next? What can we hear? What strip club are you guys playing at in a minute? I'm just kidding.
I'm trying to get, like a bigger label release. We have another one coming out on Electrostep Network soon. I haven't got a date yet. This kid's like super backed up. But, they got like a huge following on YouTube and SoundCloud and YouTube. I mean, YouTube's the big one though. So don't necessarily know when that's coming out, but hopefully get an email at some time. But I'd like to get like a Night Bass, a track signed on Night Bass or Confession, or Botneck. They came out, their label, World Famous Headquarters, is like, I think a little over a year old. That's really the one I'm shooting for, because it's just like, it's still got like a lot of like underground vibe. Like not a lot of people have the music, but the tracks on there are, you know, getting played by all the big people. But it's like, you know, a lot of people around here like that play house music, like they haven't really listened to it yet. But yeah, I think in between those three, which really those three are kind of like my favorite labels in general. But hopefully get a track at some point on those, or Gold Digger. They got a lot of good music.
Yeah, we need to go regional too. We want to get outside of Atlanta as well, and try and get back into another festival coming up.
Totally. Yeah, that's the way to get out. Is you got to get these tracks signed, yo. You
Yeah,
ever heard
I
of
know.
Label Radar?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just recently. That's how I got my last EP signed, was on Label Radar.
Really?
It was pretty straightforward how you're able to just get in touch with a lot of labels just right away. So I found that pretty helpful. Same with Submit Hub. Have you heard of them? It's a very similar concept to Label Radar, except it's not really geared towards labels as it is bloggers or like kind of like SoundCloud accounts that promote a particular type of music, like, you know, Bass House R Us or whatever, you know, and you can see how many followers they have. You pay like $1 for a credit. You submit to those guys,
yeah.
but you can do it all at once. So you can kind of get your stuff signed through Label Radar and then get it backed up once the release happens through Submit Hub. And then it just kind of will help your tracks grow and like plays and stuff. But, you know, how long have you been producing for? Did you go to school?
Yeah, I have associates in audio engineering, just like more music related, and another associates in audio post production, so for, you know, film and stuff.
Cool.
So, and I've been before that maybe a little over 10 years like working in a computer, but yeah, that's about right.
So that came after the Marines?
Yeah.
Can we talk about the Marines? Like, why'd you leave?
I honestly don't even know why I joined. Like, I'm just like, you know, I was.
You were in the
I was in the Army.
Army.
too.
10
yeah.
year, almost 10 years.
Yeah, I was just super crazy at 17, late 17-year-old, and just a handful to deal with, like for myself and everyone around me. So I was like, you know, fuck this. I'm gotta go do something else. And, you know, it's kind of bittersweet. Like, I don't really agree with a lot of the stuff that we're, you know, necessarily doing, but I did find, you know, I got to see, like, I feel like LA is one of the best places to see, like, what the dance music scene is, like, really, like, capable of. You know, I went to EDC when it was at, like, UCLA then.
Coliseum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last year. And, you know, it was just, I was out there in the Marines, but I really, like, found my passion by, like, going to all these, like, shows and stuff, and just, so that's why I got out. It's like, man, I gotta go to school and try and do this.
Did you ever make it to Sound nightclub or Exchange? It's okay to say no. You would know, or maybe not. Maybe you just partied so hard you have zero memory now.
I mean, it was a lot out there.
Yeah, I just did the whole sober October thing where I didn't do any weed, caffeine, or alcohol for the whole month of October. And dude, my memory got so sharp. I never realized how much. Actually, I did realize. I'm totally lying. Weed really affects your memory.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
It's still great though. I mean, I don't smoke, but because if I'm smoking, like I just like smoke so much, I just like get tired. Like I'm not even like high. I'm like, oh, I'm just smoke and take a nap. I guess like that's what I do now.
What do you like while you're making beats in the studio? Like, what do you drink? Coca-Cola, water,
Coffee.
coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the hardest thing in sober October for me to kind of kick. Was coffee. That shit is very addicting and necessary.
Oh, yeah.
But after about a week, I guess I was okay. But that first week, I was like, I need a nap.
Yeah, it's like
What are you drinking here?
Pretty
Let me see.
rough.
It's just the coffee.
I love just the coffee.
That's it.
Yeah, we got a little one of those Nespresso machines here. My grandma got us for our wedding, and that thing's great. You got one of those?
I sure do.
Yeah. We got to.
It wasn't good during October though, having it there.
No.
Just staring at you.
Yeah, with all those little
Yeah.
pods. Like
Come on.
all you need to do is just touch the button. But
Yeah. Just give up.
It was
Less
fun,
than 2
though.
ounces. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not a lot.
It gave me some good perspective and clarity and everything, just on just everything in general. I don't have like a problem or anything. I just, was trying to just do it. It was
Yeah.
fun, I like a challenge, But anyways, I wanted to talk to you. Why did you get out of the Army there?
That's a whole nother
Okay.
podcast.
We'll do that. Podcast with Resonance. She's a DJ as well, so
Nice. Around here?
yeah, yeah.
I like to get her female perspective on things. She likes everyone has like their genres that speak to their soul, and I kind of like everything, but a lot of people have what they like. She's a trance head. It seems like you guys are house heads. How do you feel about dubstep?
I mean, honestly, like that was like what I'd say like grew up on in the scene was like old Bar 9 and like Rusco, Caspa, like their old stuff. So I really dig it all. And from like a producer perspective and like sound design, like, you gotta respect that stuff. Like some of it's just so complex.
Yeah, it's really tough to make. It's a lot like house is easy in my opinion to make, but some of this, bass music it takes a lot of time to figure out how to make my wavetable LFOs oscillate in the proper resonance in serum, whereas you just dial in a house bass line like doom 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 doom. You make a song off of that right there.
Yeah.
So how come Rob doesn't talk very much?
I feel like I'm just hogging the mic.
You're good, man.
Rob, what's up? Why you so clean, man?
It was Dapp3r.
I like it, dude. So how does your DJ work when you guys get a live show? Are you like on the left turntable, you're on the right one, or you sit back and drink and you DJ the whole time? Or
No, we got 4 decks. One will take a side. We usually go 2 or 3 tracks each. Get the playlist together beforehand, and we're ready to go.
when was you guys like? What was it like the first time you guys ever tag teamed? Did you just fall into it, or did you fall into it as buddies and you're like, hey, you're into this, I'm into this. What we should tag team.
When we first played.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we pretty much kicked it out like that. It was taking turns on the decks. When we first met, though, it was just kind of through Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
Do
he would post some videos, and
DJ
I'd be like, yo, you need to add some of this or need some of that. And he was like, let's do a collab. So we linked up that way, and then kind of the rest was history after that. So then we started hanging out more. Then we came up with the concept of Dapp3r. So we did a few shows. We did a couple shows before we actually became Moving Keys. Then we hooked up with Ryan, and became Moving Keys. And like we said, we broke off later.
Mm-hmm. So what about you? Or did you have any kind of musical background, or were you a DJ first and then you started like producing, or where are your roots?
Yeah,
at?
I was. I'm a little bit older. I was in band when I was younger. I came up
Did you
and
play the trumpet?
No.
That's
I
like
did.
Yeah, me
Hey.
too.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a
Trombone.
DJ thing. There's a surprising amount of DJs that started with trumpet and that like cats, which is another podcast in
It's
itself. But
It's a good selection of animal.
what instrument?
Well, back in the day, it was a clarinet. So,
Okay.
yeah, right.
Kenny G.
KG.
It's like you're trying to hide it. You're like, it's back in the day. I don't do that shit now.
Hey, man.
Yeah. Let's move on. Come on.
Yeah. Next. All right. So no, but so I grew up outside D.C. I'm from Maryland, a place called Accokeek, and I grew up listening to hip hop and DC go-go and stuff like that.
I don't even know what that is. What the fuck is DC Go-Go?
Oh man, you need to look it up. I'm not going to tell you. So
Jamie.
look up Junkyard Band. So anyways, I was in the Army. I was an MP in the Army for a while. Went to school in Salisbury. I started DJing at parties in college. I started off, DJing for the football team. I was on the football team and we'd have parties, and I would do the DJ work, and I, started off with not even a set of decks. I mean, it was tape recorders and CDs back then, and then
Damn, you old, son.
right, and then I got a set of Geminis, so got a set of Gemini turntables, and started DJing that way. I did that for a while in college, and there was a place called Andromeda nightclub up in Salisbury, Maryland. So I would DJ up there occasionally. I moved down here. I got married and moved down to Atlanta area in '01, and I had a family and stopped DJing.
You got married in '01?
I got married in '02.
Uh-oh, you got that 20-year coming up, man.
Word.
You got any kids?
No, man, I'm divorced now.
Oh, shit.
But I do have 2 kids. I have 2 kids. I am divorced. So I picked up DJing again a few years later after my second was born, when he got a little bit older and I had some more time. So then I started DJing locally, OTP, a lot of little bars outside, Tony Sports Bar, Bliss.
This is an international podcast. OTP is ATL slang for outside the perimeter, son.
Word. So, but anyway, so I did that for a while, and then after a few years, that's when Chase and I had linked up, and we started doing this. So,
Yeah, I think initially I because I had started out producing didn't have any decks or anything at home, and I was really trying to find someone to collab with so I could learn how to DJ. And I think I made a post in some Atlanta DJ group
I produce dance music, and I'm trying to find someone that DJs to collab
with, and I think Rob added me, but it wasn't a couple years later till I shot him a message and said let's work together. But I would always post these videos of the stuff I was working on, and he'd always comment on it, and then I'd always see his flyers about playing all the bars everywhere, and eventually I messaged him about it, and he's basically the dude that's kind of showed me the way on DJing. So it's been a good
yin and yang. I learned a lot
Yeah.
of stuff production wise from him. I'm not the greatest producer, in all honesty, but
Very hard, man.
yeah,
Some people are just gosh. First of all, it can be expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
No
the
shit.
amount of plugins I have, I'm addicted to buying them though. There's so much
You
dang
always
stuff
need-
out there,
yeah,
dude.
no, man.
Yeah,
I worked
then-
at Guitar Center, and that was the best thing that could have ever happened to me because I get the NFR licenses from all the software companies. So I made sure and worked there long enough to get everything I needed. But there's always still just stuff coming out. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I need that. I definitely need that.
And the analog side of stuff, I just not too long ago got the SSL6, that little desktop mixer, but it's SSL, that's a nice ass piece
Yeah.
of gear.
How much is that thing?
It was 1,500, but compared to
Yeah.
their
oh, yeah.
they make their stuff that fills up half a wall. That's 150 grand,
I'm nursing it.
It's cool. I'm just making sure you don't need another one, dude.
Do you?
Drink as slow as you need. No, I'm
Well,
okay.
I could slam this thing, but
Okay, I'm coming off
trying to be professional.
coming off a month sober, so one beer
Oh,
is hitting me. Hitting
Yeah.
me real good.
1 Miller Lite,
Yeah,
dude.
Miller Lite. I did a blind taste test one time. I was I do not actually know what kind of domestic light beer that I like. So I just lined up 6 Coors Light, Miller Lite, Bud Light, whatever other lights there are. And Miller Lite I actually ended up liking the best of the blind taste test.
It's my fave.
And what I learned from that taste test too is that Coors Light can go fuck itself because it tastes horrific, and that's why they market it that it needs to be cold as the mountains so you could drink it and not actually taste it. And then they vent the lip so you can chug it and don't have to actually taste
Taste
that
it.
shit. You know?
All the workarounds.
But unless Coors wants to be a sponsor for the show, then I love your shit and I'll
Yeah.
delete that. I will delete that immediately. Sorry. But back to the plugins. What are some of your favorite plugins? This is a question for both of you guys. Rob, I want Rob to go first because he needs to get some of these lines going on the recording here. He's a little bit short of me. I'm talking the most right now.
No, it's okay. I'm different behind the decks, but I'm pretty quiet other than that. So I don't know. Serum probably.
Yeah, Serum's. I still think Serum is probably takes the cake on virtual instruments right now for dance music.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I look under the hood of that track that you just played, is Serum playing all of the sounds, even those like 8-bit crushed up sounds?
Yeah, that's Serum, but that's like the Kilohertz Bit Crusher. Kilohertz makes. They just came out with Phase Plant too, which is like I
I
think.
pay per month $9 and get all that shit.
Yeah,
Do you
dude.
do that too?
I mean, I just own it all. I bought it when I was in school, and but I think Phase Plant has the can eventually overtake Serum. If I just don't use it as much because like I like.
You're so good already with Serum, right?
That's part of it, you know, learning a new plugin is like you kind of got to like put down getting music out there to like learn how a new thing works, and that kind of just I don't know, it stresses me out cuz like I don't know if it's like grind culture or what, but I just you constantly got to feel like you got to be doing something. See a DJ on Instagram, you know, in front of a whole bunch of people, and I'm learning Phase Plant. I'm like, fuck, man, I gotta get some music out. Like, if I want to get there, I can't be learning this shit. I'll go back to Serum, so it's just like a struggle. But hopefully, I think Phase Plant will. If I feel like if I can get like more automation on the different knobs, like Serum, most everything in there in Ableton is you can automate it, but with Phase Plant, you got to route it to the macro to automate it from the macro, and like I don't really like that. But I do think it's more powerful than Serum because it's just like infinite, you know, sampler. You can do FM from like basically anything on it, which is just wild.
Is it more CPU intensive? It
Oh
seems
yeah,
like it would
big
be.
time.
Yeah. And that's a good thing about Serum. I have like 30 of them bitches open up.
Straight
and
up,
it's, like,
dude.
still works,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm worried about the Phase Plant. I definitely I've just surfed some presets and you know, it is what it is, but I'm kind of in the same boat like Serum just
Yeah, it still
is-
does it for me.
Yeah, it's like learning Japanese. You're like, "Fuck, I just learned Spanish."
Yeah.
You know? But I'm not going to let you off that easy there, Rob. You can't just say Serum as your favorite plugin. You got to have more, bro.
Well, like I said, I'm not the greatest producer in this group here, but I'm
okay.
actually switching over from FL to Ableton now. So
Oh yeah, that's
it's
right.
like
Before
fucking
we
new
started,
language
he
for
said
me.
he was on Ableton too. And
Well,
I just
nah,
like-
nah, like
we meant two.
like also
like two,
Yeah.
like TOO. Two. I was on FL before.
he's on the Mac
so-
G4 Ableton too.
Exactly.
Check out this 808 that took me an hour to make. My
So,
my computer just
A
crashed.
little bit different. So I'm learning, like you said, learning a new language right now. So
Cool. Well, it must be very nice to have someone like Chase in order to sit next to and like learn from. Like
it is. I mean, sitting in there collabing on stuff. I mean, I can just pick up stuff just by watching him, and he flies through it. I mean, he's so proficient in it. It's
I could probably learn.
it's great
stuff from
working
you
with
too,
him.
Chase. I'm gonna come over next weekend, man. I'm gonna just show up
Bring that monitor.
next to your window. Be like, who is that? Oh shit, Bo's outside looking in. Yeah, that monitor's.
Dude,
Dope.
that thing is.
You know, I have so much amazing gear in here that I love, but no one ever talks about it. All they
How
care
wide
about
is
is the
that?
monitor.
How wide is that?
49 inches.
Oh, I could go on. What do we have?
You're a true gearhead, aren't you?
Yeah, unfortunately, my bank account.
Yeah, the best part of the studio is definitely the Apollo over there.
Oh yeah,
So,
I got one.
yeah,
Is that
Apollo. If you guys are listening and you're new to producing or you don't give a fuck about producing and you're like, I wish they would start talking more about what they were for Halloween, we'll get to that in a minute, but we are a gear-driven podcast too, love technology, but the Apollo is one of the best interfaces on the market because it has a processor inside that processes using its own amazing plugins. And if you
And
don't
they
know what
are
that means,
badass.
just trust me, it's really cool.
Yeah, I got like the Octo, the 8-core, and a Twin, so I can. I've
I
still
need a
maxed it out
satellite,
though.
actually. Yeah. I need a satellite. Mine I max out with just a couple.
Oh
things.
yeah.
It's not good. But yeah, my favorite plugins are Universal Audio, and then the obvious Serum and Omnisphere. I like drifting away into sounds. you produce too, don't you?
I do.
I don't want to leave you out.
It's all good.
Even though this is all about Dapp3r. Do you have favorite plugins yet? You're just kind of new to producing, right, in the last year?
Yes. So I mean, I use Spire, but I found Endless Smile. So it's from Dada Life. It's
Okay.
so much fun.
Nice. I'm gonna
So
write that one down.
I learned that in class. I went when I was in Amsterdam. I went for our music production
Oh, really? I
workshop.
bet it was
Nice.
way cool out there.
It was a lot of fun.
That we talked about in the last podcast. Otherwise, I would like totally
Yeah.
dive into what
Yeah.
she did again. But we got into it pretty good, and unfortunately, the video crashed. So if you were listening to the last week's episode, sorry about the video crashing. That's actually never happened, and it looks like we're still pretty good here to go. So that's cool. Eventually, so this is a temporary studio. All the people that are getting in now and listening to the podcast, we appreciate it on behalf of Liquefied. But this studio is going to go. This is a tester studio. We're going to have a dope studio with multiple cameras, 3D virtual reality, like cameras in the center so you can like tune in and like actually look around the studio. This is all coming. This is all real shit. I'm a gearhead too, and I just like, technology is part of how I got into dance music. I just went out and heard some techno one day, and I was just like, what the fuck is this? And then once you get into like how it's actually made, it's just endless. It's not,
It really is.
you go into it forever, as far and as deep as you ever want to go, and then there will still be more combinations of shit that you can do. Like, you could throw me in Dead Mouse's studio, and I would never know how to work all of that shit in there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have. I think I have one. I got like a Euro rack and a analog synth, but I still don't like use it as much as I'd like to, like the outboard stuff, because he's got a lot of like Euro racks like all around the studio. But it really is endless, and those plugins like the Apollo and stuff, those are like modeled after like actual hardware, so it's like now like a lot of the analog stuff is they're doing their best to bring it over like digitally, like they got most, I think, of Apollo's stuff is like modeled after actual like EQs and compressors, and so it really is endless.
So what do you guys think about what are your general thoughts about the scene, dance music here in Atlanta, as far as, every aspect of it goes, from the people to the music to where it was 5 years ago to where it is now to where it's going to be in another 5 years? Like, just give me your kind of your thoughts on that. Rob. Quit hiding in the corner, bro.
Oh, man. Some thoughts on the scene, huh? Well, it's definitely a supportive scene. It seems like, everybody is always kind of raising each other up, at least on the socials. Whether it's a new track or, a show that's going on. But within the last 5 years, it's crazy to see where Atlanta was to where it is now. The acts that are coming through, the DJs that are coming through. I mean, it wasn't like this. I mean, it hasn't always been like this.
That's why I moved in the beginning.
And now you got all these different nightclubs on any given night. I mean, the headliners are insane. I mean,
Matt Zoe, like
Yeah.
I saw Matt Zoe when he came out a little bit. I don't know how long ago it was, but
Hashtag liquefied.
oh yeah.
the international acts that come through here, it's just, it's crazy. I mean, especially, we were just talking before, I don't know if it was recording or not, but Volak and Phlegmatic Dogs coming through. I mean, that is a show that
Oh yeah.
we've been waiting to see.
Gets
You
me
know,
moist.
You're welcome.
yes.
That was all me.
Hey,
It was all liquefied, though. We really strive to get these real, very music-centered, legendary events since 1993.
hmm
So
but just the scene and where it's at now, unbelievable. Maybe 5 years from now,
I keep thinking it's gonna be like it's kind of like the baby, like LA right now. Like it's like in its stages of, not that it's, I've definite. Well, it's it's like the Hollywood of the East Coast, kind of. You know, it's the place to party in the Southeast, just like LA is the place to party in the Southwest. And I think it's just gonna continue to grow. And it seems, I don't know, it's just badass. There's so many good, like, Kaztech, when he came here, like, bro, that's a sick show. Like, I would have never thought that he would be on, this side. And I don't know, it's just cool. There's so many artists that, like, I'm like inspired by that come out here.
Well, you got the big national and international acts, but I mean the local guys here too, though. I mean, there's so much local talent.
There really is. I have this podcast booked up for 2 months with people I've never even heard of that are awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so much going on.
I mean, whether it's house, whether it's dub, it's all here. I mean, it's badass.
Do you have like a kind of rating system of your favorite genres to least favorite? Hardcore being the worst.
Happy hardcore being the worst.
Yeah, it just reminds me of like Teletubbies or something. Like, it's just like
reminds me of banging my head up against the wall with no friends. I'm just kidding. I actually have a very close friend that loves that style of music, and he's the coolest dude, and he has tons of friends. So I'm not trying to offend nobody.
No, I mean, what's his name? Bass Hunter. That dude's huge. Like, props to him. He's where I want to be, just not playing the music I want to play.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I can tell you're very driven and you really love it, and it's a really big passion for you, man. So I mean, if you're ever sitting in your studio and you're frustrated and you're not getting the success you hope for, man, you're gonna be just fine, dude.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. Is that?
Yeah. What is it that kind of like, what do you love about the gear, the making music, the scene? Is it just everything together, or is there one thing that kind of is the reason for everything? Cats?
Yeah, I mean, kind of on like an unrelated matter, it is weird how like anytime I am making music, like the cats just like come in there and like they're just like, yeah, this is that shit right here, dude. Like, sitting in the corner.
My cats aren't allowed in here, but if you open that door right now, Jamie, 2 of those motherfuckers will come in and jump on this table and rub their tails on these mics. I can't have them in here though, they just get back there. There's too many wires.
Yeah, mine cut off the power strip last week. I was like working and everything was like,
yeah.
And it was that little stray. I was like, man, I should have let you outside. Just kidding, I love you.
Just kidding. Yeah, mine turned off the Xbox the other day. Son of a bitch. Yeah, man. So, well, fucking fellas, what's next? Because we're about at the time here. I enjoyed fucking getting to know you guys. You guys are playing a show on Saturday, right?
Yes.
With Liquefied's own JD, who will be on the podcast on the 18th with Mr. Vivid, one of our resident DJs, who we all know and love. He's one of the first dudes I met when I kind of moved back here. I end up running into him all the time, who helped introduce me to you 2 characters.
Dude, they're both good guys.
Yeah.
Great guys.
I'm going to have them on 18th, so that should be fun. So let's see, Saturday, if this comes out before then, which it probably should, that is a great opportunity for you, if you're listening, to go see these dudes who you just got to love on the podcast. They're going to be playing their new tune, which you just heard. Are you going to play it? You can play your new jam?
Oh, yeah, you want to?
No, we already played that shit. I'll play you off. This is a recording.
Shit, man.
Actually, yeah, we could play it on. No, I'll just spice it in there. You're gonna send it to me after we get offline. You send me that shit tomorrow, and then I'll put it on there. But it's very good, dude. Obviously, you know what you're doing, which is cool.
Thank you. It means a lot, especially like mix wise,
Yeah, it's awesome. I'd like to, tweak out in here with you one of these days and not get too much into it. We'll start boring people when we're talking about modulating the filter cutoffs of the whatever, you know. You know, you could really get lost. But well, this has been cool. Is there anything else you guys want to, like, you know, throw out there? Go see your show. Where can they? Where do you want people to find you? Like, you know, online.
Oh yeah, everything is at Dapp3r Bay, like BAE, like girlfriend or also.
But there's like a
They make
3.
out
You
work
gotta
there.
say
Right.
the 3, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's spelled with a 3.
That's right.
DAPP3R.
Dapp3r Bay.
It's edgy. Not a lot of people.
BAE, but then there's not a 3 at the end. It's just AE. Ugh, these guys are so hard to find.
Oh yeah.
But once you find them, you're like, oh, I'm so glad I looked so hard for these guys, you know? Well, thanks for letting me bust your balls, you know? I don't like to get too serious in here. I've played with turning the lights down and, like, you know, making these lights, like, super dim and dingy and then, like, taking, like, tons of bong rips before. But then we just end up laughing about, like, the cable wraps the whole time. And it doesn't come off too good on the camera. But
I'd be down for that.
audio is cool, and we are on iTunes. So tell your friends to go rate us and give me some feedback. You know, as a host, I don't want to be talking about myself all the time. But I also want you guys to get to know me because I love the music scene, and I'm trying to grow it as big as possible in Atlanta with the help of our friends at Liquefied, which makes me want to say on Friday, you guys need to go to District because we throw events there every Friday, and they're always amazing. Some of the best lighting in town, one of the coolest new venues, and they really let you kind of party there like it's 1990, 2019. Man, it's almost 2020.
Oh.
Holy shit.
Bro, that light system there, though.
Oh yeah, that shit's wild. I think that's like why it is kind of like, and I'm not just saying that because this is Liquefied. I'm not that kind of dude. Like if it was trash, I'd be like, oh. But no, it's probably the coolest venue in Atlanta just with the lights. I was like, last time I was there, I was like looking at the website of like the lights and the different stuff you could buy. I was like, dude.
Right?
I need this for my studio.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. Well, Chase and Rob, Dapp3r, that's Homegrown, episode number 5. Thanks for coming on so much. And then I'm going to play you guys off with your new tune. One more time, what's it called?
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom. All right, guys. That's a wrap. Thanks so much. Peace.
Can you feel the boom boom?